I wanna be different, I wanna be changed, till all of me is gone, and all that remains is a fire so bright the whole world can see that there's something different. So come and be different in me.
Hey everybody, it's LaTanya Nixon with Different.Changed. I am so excited. This is October, which we know is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so as I told you guys before in prep for this, every week I'm going to be interviewing somebody who has a similar story to mine, in that they were diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer, and what their journey was. And so I am so thrilled today to have my first person that I'm interviewing, and that is Miss Keysha Shaw. Keysha was also a breast cancer survivor, and so today I just wanted to come and talk with Keysha and just kind of, tell the story about what you've been through. And so tell me, Keysha, when you were first diagnosed, what was your first reaction?
Well, kind of nervous, because once I used to go for my regular mammogram when I turned 40. So this is my maybe second year getting my mammogram. So once she told me I did my mammogram, and then she called me in the room. Most time you go in a room, it's something that's not right. I think that stuff, If you go in a room, I'm like, okay. So they said, we just saw, it's a little spot that we are concerned about. So they want me to come back and get another mammogram. So I did that. Then I had to get a biopsy. That was a little interesting, because you that table, and you have, they got to put the needle in there, and so that was interesting. But then the initial thought to me was what Pastor said, like, you have a couple of seconds to think what you're going to do. You're going to be depressed, or if you're going to take it head on. So I was more of like, okay, what I got to do, what's the steps from here, because and then when I got in the car, I cried. So then I said, you have to get it out, because first you're like, okay, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do anything, So I was like, okay. So I said, Lord, just using it as an example. So that's how I looked at it. So after that, I just like, my husband prayed, of course he prayed with me.
Yes.
And we let Pastor, the church know. But initial, a little shocked and really nervous about that, because that was like out of the blue. But
Yeah, see, me too.
Right.
Just very shocking. Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
This cannot even be me. Because, same kind of situation. My lifestyle didn't predict that I would have that happen.
Right.
And so I was really, really shocked. And so, yeah, you hit it on the nail. Just shocked, nervous, and just trying to figure out, what are we going to do? And like Pastor said, that those few seconds of, you going to, flight or fight. Are you going to flight or fight? What are you going to do?
Right.
Yep. So, yeah. So once you found out about that, what was your treatment modality? What did they tell you that you had to do as far as getting it cured or getting it dealt with?
Well, they gave, I had to do I had a stage 0, so I was thankful for that, because it could have been worse. So I had to do the radiation, and I did that until September the 20th, the day before my birthday. So that was a good birthday gift. My last radiation was September 20th of 2019. So, but we did radiation, and doing that, you see a lot of people when you go in to stand in the room and wait for they to call your name. So I was complaining, a little, because how you get discoloration on your breast. But then when this other lady came in, she didn't have didn't have a breast at all.
Wow.
And she was peeling, like it was burning her. So I'm like, I'm not complaining about discoloration,
Right.
It totally wasn't that bad in my case.
Right.
I said I don't have a reason to complain about that.
Right.
But I had to do, I want to say maybe 52 treatments.
Gotcha.
So Monday through Friday I had to go and get radiation.
Yeah,
So
I remember.
That's tough, that was tough. Like every day I leave work and go for, it doesn't take long, maybe about 5 or 10 minutes, but just being on the table, your mind, you have to really be prayed up, have confessions.
Absolutely.
Because that really helps.
Yeah, and it's so funny, Keysha, because my treatment was, you had to have surgery, obviously,
Right.
and then
Correct.
After surgery, I went through radiation. So I heard about the option that you could do it every day, Monday through Friday, and for just 1 week. And so I ended up doing that one because what happened was when I did the surgery, it wasn't in my lymph nodes, and so they said because it wasn't in my lymph nodes and the stage that it had to be between a 0 and a 2, and I was at a 2, I think. And so because of that, I was able to do the quick savvy treatment. And that was 5 days. But yeah, still going in there and then, and inserting and all this other thing. And see, and I've documented this before, YouTube channel. And the savvy, they had those little 5 prongs that were sticking out, and which was very strange because it was just sticking out of your breast like this. And so they connected those things and kind of zapped me in that way. And so, like you said, it wasn't a long treatment, but mentally it was exhausting because you were just like, what am I even doing here? You start your mind is like, what am I even doing here? Exactly.
And I had to have surgery twice because they didn't get they still saw some of the cancer cells, so I had to go back in and have surgery.
Oh my God! And how was that for you, having to go back in?
I'm like, can you cut a little bit more? I mean, you cut how much you have to, so we don't have to go through it no more. That's inner, so I don't really care. Just go
in there and get it.
Right.
Yeah.
So the second time they got all of it.
Wow. So would you say that was one of the most difficult times for you, having to go back in?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm like, Jesus, come on,
Right?
I said, okay, Lord, that's going through. And this skin, like when you go to have surgery, you know how they have to, I feel like they threading, when they had to put the little I forgot what it's called. It's like a little wire sticking out. But it just feel like, you're standing there and they got to go in with the needle and then thread it in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I do not want to go through that again.
Right.
So I had to do that twice. So.
Yeah.
But that's tough.
Yeah, that is. I bet it was. And for me, I guess it probably would have been just so nerve-wracking. Like, do I really have to do this? So I can understand how that would have been really, really tough. Okay. While you were going through your treatment, were there any products that you used? Any vitamin regimen that you partook in, or anything like that?
I did aloe vera because my skin after radiation, I'll be kind of sort of like a burning kind of situation. So I'll rub that on and it'll cool my skin down, I guess. So I use that, and then some cream for peeling. So
got it.
But I haven't do vitamins or anything like that. But aloe vera, because how my skin was, it didn't really peel bad, but it's like a sunburn.
Right, gotcha. And so what radiation, was that the only treatment that you had to do that was severe? Like, thankfully, yeah. Good, yeah.
I'm thankful for that.
Yes. And it was so funny because, Keysha and I was pretty much going through this at the same time. She was like a couple of steps ahead of me, and so she was such a blessing because I would call her and be like, what do I do now? And so she was a great resource and a great comfort. She was very nurturing. And so when I wanted to do this, I immediately thought of her. I really wanted to sit down with her and chat with her about her experience. And so for me, unfortunately, I had to do chemo too. And I remember even when I think I told her that, and she was just like, you got it, sis. You got it. You're going to walk through it. You're going to be fine, And so I just appreciate all of her support. And so now that you've come out of the radiation, and now it's been a year since all that has happened. I know, right? Woohoo! And so it's been a year since this all happened. And so what are you on now for your maintenance treatment?
Tamoxifen, and they give you that like a fake hot flash. So I'm at work, is really, I had to buy a little fan because they only last for maybe 3 minutes, then it goes away. But I'm like, I feel for all ladies that are going through hot flash or menopause,
Oh my God, wait, and it's so funny. I'm glad that you mentioned that because I know that we're filming. YouTube family, I gotta show you this. I know that we are filming, but when I tell you,
that is so cool.
This thing is called the lollipop fan. Ladies, get this, because as she said, the medicine, because I'm on the same medication as her, as she said, the medication will have you having fake kind of menopausal reactions or hot spells, whatever. And when I tell you this thing right here will save your life, it has two. And look, I'm gonna buy you one just because you did this, because you came here today. And this thing has a couple of levels, and I'll put it in my description box. So you can know where to get it. But honestly, just Google lollipop fan on Amazon, and this will save you. I'm telling you, I've got like 3 of them, you guys. And so she's right. They may be fake. They may be fake hot spells, but they feel very real.
Exactly, they do.
Yes. So so those are your side effects with the kind of the hot spells and that kind of thing. Any other side effects that you've experienced?
Not really, but like I guess I still like the muscles are still, I guess, strengthening in my breast.
Right.
So like in the morning time, I might have to hold them before, like hold my breast when I'm getting up from sleeping.
Right.
Because it still feels
Tender.
Yeah. Right. So I still have to do that.
Have to do that, yeah. One of the side effects that I had that, from where they put the savvy in, because again, that's a tube that they inserted inside of me, so it's a lot of scar tissue, and so it's healed over and it feels like a big gigantic lump. And so at different times I'm like, is that breast cancer?
Right.
But it's just the lump of the scar tissue.
Gotcha.
It feels very very weird because it's a hard spot, and where it should be a soft place, it's a hard spot. And so that has been a little bit interesting as well.
Right.
Okay, so Keysha, tell me, what advice would you give to women who just were recently diagnosed?
To definitely have a good support system. Because you gonna really need that. Because I really didn't tell a whole lot of people, because I ain't gonna say everybody's not for you, but a lot of people really don't. They say they're gonna pray for you. They really, pray seriously.
Right.
So have confessions, have a good support system, and just pray.
Right. Yeah. Just have a good faith walk for sure.
Yes. You want to need that.
Yeah.
And believe that the Lord's not punishing you.
Right. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Say in my mind, He's not punishing me for this.
Right.
I'm just being an example for somebody else to help somebody else. That's how I look at it.
Absolutely. That's a very good point, because I do think, at times, because we're not perfect, and we have a tendency, we sin like anybody else on different times, and so we might, God, is this punishment for something I did, and that kind of thing. But we have to remember that our God is a loving God, and He does not go about the business of punishing us.
Right.
He loves to love us,
right.
And so He's not. Good point, you guys. Don't feel that you're being punished for something that you did. Our God is not. He's not like that. Mm-hmm. He is a God of love, and so just make sure that you don't do that. That's a good point. And then the other thing too is, like she said, I've talked about this before, you guys, make sure that you have a good support system. That's going to be so crucially important. And choose who you tell too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like me, I kind of put it out there because God gave me this assignment, and no worries. But had it been up to me, I would have kept that a little bit more private. But it wasn't up for me, because it was an assignment for me to be able to share. And I'm so glad that I've done that, because I get to. And here's the thing about Keysha and I, we've been in the same church for years, and I've seen her and been friendly to her, and she's been friendly to me. And we've never ever had a problem at all. But this experience, I think, has brought us closer in the spirit. Like we still don't like talk every day or anything like that. But whenever I reach out to her, she's always just very warm and welcoming, and like, hey, what do you need, and that kind of thing. And so, and that's what this is. It's kind of, you develop a community for sure.
Exactly.
Amongst other survivors and other people who are going through it. Okay, and so lastly, I guess I would ask, in terms of your support system or your care team, what advice would you give to other caretakers who their loved one has been diagnosed with something like this? What would you say to those persons?
Definitely get help too, because don't try to do it all by yourself, because it'll get overwhelming, and then it won't be good. If you get overwhelmed, you really can't do a good job or help anyone if you're not, if you are stressed out about it, or you feel overwhelmed, because most times you have family, and everybody can just chip in to help, but sometimes it always be on one person in the family, and and that's a lot.
And that is a lot. That's a good point. Make sure that you get help. Make sure that you don't push people away.
That's right. That's right. A lot of people push people away or shut down.
Yeah, because you're depressed and you're scared.
Right.
We just did my last one in my videos. We talked about faith and fear. And what do you choose to do? Do you choose to live in faith, or do you choose to live in fear? Living in fear that it's going to come back. That's a very real, scary piece for us. It's very real for those of us who've gone through this, and you have to choose not to walk in that. Would you say so, Keysha?
Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah, you have to choose to say, I don't care what the statistics look like. I don't care what. I'm gonna beat this thing, and that it's not going to re-enter my body.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think that all of that is just super important. Well, you know what, Keysha, thank you so much.
Welcome. You're so welcome.
Oh my gosh. And you know, she's so beautiful. Isn't she beautiful, you guys? She
Thank you.
is. She's
Thank
beautiful inside and out there. She's a very sweet person.
Thank you.
Her husband and I serve in ministry together. Shout out to Russell. Yeah. Shout out to her husband, beautiful family. And so I just thank God for Keysha and women like her who are willing to come and share their story, because it's important that we have people that are willing to tell it, because you can live in spite of cancer. You can live over top of cancer. You don't ever have to be underneath it.
That's
you know what I mean? You can live and not die and declare
Right.
the glory of the
That's
Lord.
right.
Isn't that
I
right?
thank you too for sharing your story.
Oh.
So that's you have to have strength and courage to do that.
Yeah.
So I thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, Keysha. She's so sweet. Well, listen, you guys, that's all the time we have for now. But, you know, continue to stay tuned, because we're going to come back again in another week and interview another cancer survivor. And they're going to tell their story. And here's the thing. All the stories could be different, and all of them have some similarities.
Right.
Okay? And so what you're going to see is you're going to see people just being very genuine about their own experiences. And it is my hope that it will help you in what you're going through. Okay? So do what I always ask you to do, and that is be different and remain changed. See you next time.